What was it actually like wearing the Mr. Terrific mask for the first time ever at Anime NYC? Welcome to part 0 of Becoming Mr. Terrific, where every Tuesday and Thursday I'll be posting behind the scenes, tips, tricks, bloopers, whatever, of every major step of me getting through my Mr. Terrific cosplay. It'll be on all of my platforms and information heavy, so prepare yourself. And if you have any questions about a specific step or a specific part of the cosplay, be sure to leave them in the comments and I'll address them as I film each part of the videos. I cosplayed Mr. Terrific on Sunday of Anime NYC, and my sweatiness was pretty much the biggest issue. The previous day I went to the convention as Nobu and I walked to the convention as I usually do, but I quickly learned that I will not survive if I go as Mr. Terrific because my makeup was dripping off, I was drenched in sweat, I knew that I was going to have to Uber. So on Sunday I got ready in the hotel room, which was already off to a bad start. The air conditioning in the hotel didn't really reach the bathroom area, so I had taken a shower. The steam wasn't really going anywhere. I was anxious because I had never tried some of these products before. It was my first time wearing lipstick. I didn't know how well this hair wax was gonna work. So I was pretty much constantly having a little bit of sweat or humidity on me at all times, which meant that some parts of my makeup probably didn't properly set. And so I was never just fully dry at any point of the day. So I Ubered to the convention, but I got out a tiny bit early because the Ubers kind of set off to the side and there was a bunch of traffic, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't walk further than I had to. But less than a minute out, I am dripping sweat. So I'm naturally sweaty, it's a hot day, it's more humid than I'm used to. And for the first time ever, I had this thought of like, oh yeah, I definitely killed this cosplay. I know people are gonna love it. Some people might want pictures. Oh no. I'm afraid of being perceived, so my anxiety spiked, right? I started sweating even more. Then I got confused about which entrance to go through, as we all do. Again, the sweating didn't stop. I finally got inside, tried to calm down and cool down. However, I was already late to the convention. I had an interview, I was supposed to meet a friend, then I was supposed to meet another friend, and then people wanted pictures, so I never really just stopped to slow down. And from there, it was just kind of downhill. And my anxiety never really went away because I also started to notice that I was getting black all over my fingers and on my actual cosplay. And the stuff that was on my fingers was not coming off, which I assumed meant it was not going to come off on my cosplay. So then I was thinking, oh my gosh, all these hours of work might be ruined. So if you saw me at the convention, I was internally screaming and panicking. Despite how calm I was on the outside, I wasn't okay. And since I had never tested this cosplay before, I couldn't tell if the black was coming from my hair, my lipstick, my eyes. I just know that when I touch myself at the top, or whenever I looked down, there was black there. Luckily, the interview did give me a chance to kind of cool down, calm down. But again, once I started moving, once I started filming some other stuff, I started to slowly sweat a bit, but it wasn't too bad. So you know that sensation of being really wet where you just want to wipe your forehead, whether it's you've been submerged in a body of water or you've been sweating? Imagine that, but not being able to do anything about it. It's covered by the mask the entire time, so you feel like you're dripping sweat, right? You go to wipe the sweat, realize you can't touch this part of your face, wipe the sweat from this part of your body, but you don't feel any relief of actually removing sweat. And then essentially it's just trapped there. But the mask is sealed enough so that the sweat doesn't evaporate, but not sealed enough so that there's little crevices that the sweat and the makeup can just drip down and get everywhere. That's what was going on. So after the interview, I had to rush and make some content and meet some people. And even though it was not physically strenuous, again, I was wearing leather, a heavy cotton shirt, a mask. It was fairly warm in the convention center. And next thing I know, I was sweating more than ever, and it wasn't stopping, it wasn't drying off, and I started to panic. Because usually I'm okay with being overstimulated. I can mask really hard, I can internalize it. You'll never know that I'm uncomfortable. As long as you don't know, I'm cool. But it got to a point where I just looked terrible. My mask was already too glossy before I fixed it after the convention, so it looked like I was sweating even when I wasn't. There's constant sweat dripping from my hairline and on my forehead. The makeup is smearing everywhere and splattering all over my clothes. So then, no amount of masking from me would help because you can visually see that I'm a mess. And that just made it way harder to stay calm. And eventually I realized I needed to either go somewhere and isolate from people or potentially take off the mask, which I really did not want to do because I wasn't even sure if I could put the mask back on. So there was a point where I was just like walking through the crowds acting like I couldn't hear, oh my gosh, Mr. Terrific, yo, Mr. Terrific. I tried to act like I couldn't hear people and tried to just focus my vision because I didn't want to stop for anyone. And I remember there's this one photographer who saw me. She was really excited. She was like, oh my gosh, Mr. Terrific. She saw me and was like, oh my gosh, you need a break. Let's not take this photo. First of all, I really appreciate you. That's what I needed in the moment. But when I heard you say that, I was like, dang, I actually do look bad. Anxiety's going up even more. So I was trying to find the bathroom, and once I found the bathroom, I had gotten so sweaty that I realized I can't just hang out in the bathroom. I need to be in a place where nobody's gonna talk to me. So then I walked across the con again, went through the crowds, and finally found the quiet room, which is for people who get overstimulated, people who need peace and quiet, people who need to calm down. I knew that nobody would talk to me there. And no matter how long I sat, the sweat was not going anywhere, so eventually I just had to take the mask off, which was also kind of me admitting, because there was a chance that the mask would never go back on, there's a chance the mask would tear. Again, I had never cost tested any of this, so I didn't know the durability. I didn't plan for being trapped in a mask of sweat. Side note, I don't condone con crunching, even though I had a lot of humor in the past couple of weeks talking about it. I'm usually the friend who's like, hey, plan ahead, there's no reason to con crunch. Things happen, I did plan ahead, and I just kept getting hit with bad luck with this cosplay, so that is the only reason I con crunched, but it was not in the plan. And then I went to the bathroom for about 20 or so minutes to touch up the makeup and reapply the mask. And luckily the mask actually went on really well and a lot better when I was fully dry, and was more sturdy. However, once I left the bathroom, the con was over. I had no idea. I thought the con ended at 8 p.m. because I was just so overstimulated and I got all mixed up and I kept reading the schedules wrong, but the con ended at 5 p.m. I arrived at the con at like 2 something, right? The interview probably took like an hour or so with pictures and just hanging out. I filmed some content for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, and I spent about an hour or so out of commission. So I maybe had like 90 minutes or so in this cosplay that took me over 100 hours, and I was just so disappointed. I was so, just frustrated that that happened. But that's life. I am proud of myself for getting to this point, for making the cosplay happen, for showing up, for doing the things I got to do, and I'll be able to take them to another convention anyway. So I didn't actually eat or drink in the cosplay, but I did smile, and as soon as I smiled, it lifted. The lip area came undone. Everything else stayed pretty solid, but this area is pretty finicky, and so is the chin area. The chin took a couple of times to reapply, but once I got it there, it stayed. You just couldn't do too many facial expressions, which is perfect for Mr. Terrific because he's not very emotionally expressive. But the face is pretty solid. As you can see in this video, I had to kind of yank it off to even get it to move. And that's also because the face is pretty well molded to my face and has multiple points of contact. So even without the glue, the mask can kind of just stay on your face, which I thought was pretty cool. After this whole fiasco, I think I'll be ready to wear it for another extended period of time at my next convention. I know the weather's going to be better, my nerves are going to be better. Do I have any advice? I'm not really sure. This is my first mask ever, it's my first time working with Warbler, so I'm definitely not an expert. I'd say the classic advice would be to be aware of your body and your limitations, try and stay cool, take your makeup products with you so that way you can reapply the mask at the convention. I know that next time I cosplay Mr. Terrific, I'm going to schedule in 1 or 2 breaks. That way I can stop, sit, cool down, eat and drink, and then just spend 15 to 20 minutes in the bathroom reapplying it, and we should be good to go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed episode 0 of Becoming Mr. Terrific. Again, if you have any questions about any part of the cosplay, feel free to ask them in the comments, and I will address them once I get to that part of the series.